Hello everyone and welcome back to Crown and Stem. My name is Dennis Callow. This is my channel about watches and oh my god, we have been digging ourselves out of about 3 feet of snow for the last 24 hours. We're doing a calmer video this week. It's a little less involved than my usual fare. And what I mean by that is I'm planning a very big video. The next video I do probably will be the longest video I've done on the channel so far. It is about building watches and the joy of building your own watches. So it's gonna take a lot of effort. I'm gonna take you guys through an entire watch build in that episode, as well as just talk about the joy of the hobby itself. I was gonna get that ready for this week. I ran out of time. It may even take me an extra week, so there may not be a video next week, but we'll see. I said there wasn't going to be a video this week to myself, and then I was like, you know what? I have an idea. I might as well just throw it on tape. Tape? This isn't tape. Part of the goal of this channel is to do something every week, do a video every week, even if it's not as long or involved or anything that I want it to be. I'm trying not to be a perfectionist, just trying to get this channel some momentum. And let me talk to you guys about momentum for a second. You guys are killing it, man. We're up to almost 100 subscribers here, which is amazing. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 by the end of the year. So if you're enjoying this content, or you're enjoying the channel, or you just stumbled upon this video, the best way you could support it if you like what you're seeing is to hit the subscribe button. Costs you nothing, and it would mean a lot to me if you did. I feel like we got a nice little thing going on here. This channel is growing slowly but surely, and every week there's new comments and new people getting invested in what I'm talking about, and I really love it because it is an open conversation. It's not all about me and the videos that I make and the production value, etc., etc. It is about us as watch people and watch nerds, and I love that. That's why I started this channel, so please keep subscribing, liking, and watching. It really means a lot to me. So before we get into today's video, let's do wristwatch check. This is my most prized possession in terms of watches, and probably my most prized possession. It is a watch my father gave me. It is getting its own video. It is a Bulova Accutron with the tuning fork movement. I used to be fascinated with this watch as a child, and I think that this was the watch that got me interested in the whole thing. I think this was the origin story for me because I was fascinated with the movement. It did not move like other watches. The seconds hand moved in a very smooth motion, and I didn't know how they did that. And it's gonna get its own video, so I'm not gonna talk that much about it here, but it is my most prized possession. It will never leave my collection. It will never leave my family. It will go to someone in my family when I'm gone, and be an heirloom watch that can be passed down from generation to generation. And I think that that is part of why I love this hobby and this journey of watch collecting so much, is that because there's always one watch that you're gonna give to someone that they're gonna cherish forever, and that's gonna outlive you. And this watch was sitting in my dad's desk drawer for years, unserviced, and it still works. I put a battery in it, it still works. These have a very high failure rate, so I do want to get it tuned up. There's one guy online that I think does it. I have to look into it a little bit more, but I'm so scared to send it off for servicing because it's an heirloom and I don't want anything to happen to it. But definitely gonna get that serviced at some point. All right, so today's video is a little bit different because I don't have any of the watches that I'm talking about. These are my Grail watches, and I think that the Grail watch is something we all have in mind, but I think I have more of a Grail collection in mind, and it's literally 4 watches. I don't have any set rules for these watches, except that I do want them to be heritage brands, because I still think I'm in the first part of my journey with the AliExpress watches and the Seikos and everything like that. This next level is, I think, the second tier for me. And what I mean by that is it's going into the heritage brands, going into the brands that are still a little bit out of my reach right now. And these are the watches that I would want as the basis of the collection, and maybe the entire collection altogether. So the first watch I want to talk about is not a Rolex. I think wanting to own a Rolex is fine, and I love them, but I held one in my hand. I've actually held two in my hand. I've seen and held a Submariner in my hand, a vintage one. And then I've seen and held in my hand an Oyster Perpetual. And I originally wanted an Oyster Perpetual that was made in the year of my birth, 1977. But then I held one. It didn't really do it for me. I was kind of shocked because I thought that it would be this moment where like the heavens shone through and I could smell the angel wings. And on them was a crown, a Rolex crown. And in that crown, the eye of God looked onto me and said, "Dennis, this is your Grail watch." It didn't do that for me at all. I thought that they were really beautiful, and it was so cool to actually like hold a Rolex in my hand. I didn't like the bracelets, and I didn't like the watches in general. The first Grail watch that I want to get is a Tudor, and it is a Tudor Ranger. There is something about the Tudor Ranger that I would most likely wear that watch every single day. It has everything that I love about a watch. It has simplicity. Simplicity? Who the hell talks like that? It has simplicity. I love the font. I love the numerals. I think that they are really beautiful. I believe they're Futura, which is my favorite font. I use that font in all my videos. I just love the way it looks. And I think that that's what counts, is that if you love the way it looks and that you love the way it looks on your wrist, then that's it. So if I was looking at a Perpetual Oyster, I think I've seen some vintage, Rolex vintage Perpetual Oysters for around maybe the same price, probably higher. But I would rather spend that money on the Tudor because I would wear it every single day. It would be my daily driver. I don't think that I would ever want to wear another watch every day besides that one. The second, we're getting into dicey territory because I have always wanted an Omega chronograph. Always. I've never not wanted one. I've always wanted a reverse Panda Omega chronograph. And now we all know that new one just came out and it's stupid expensive. I was blown away by it when I first saw it, but I'm like, there's no way. And like, there's no way I would want to wait around for it to drop in price because then you're probably going to like drop $8,000 on it. I'm like, I don't know if it's worth it, man. So I started doing some research. I started digging around and I found one that I thought was really interesting, but there is something that I think would turn a lot of people off. So the classic chronograph style, for me at least, the most pleasing layout is the 3-6-9 on the chrono hands. The ones that I'm looking at, which are far less expensive, vintage, but are reverse Panda Omegas, they have it at the 12-9-6 configuration. Now that I know is a little less desirable, and that's probably why they're less expensive. So the one that I've been looking at is under $3,000, believe it or not. Some of them are even in like the mid thousands, like 1,500 to 1,900. It looks like the reference number is 914086, and this one that I'm looking at is $1,853, but you can get it for $1,500 with a coupon. And I gotta say, it's gorgeous. And again, it's one that I would probably wear like every single day. They're about 39 millimeters. If I do a chronograph, it's gotta be 40 or below. I don't think anything over 40 on my wrist just looks bad. So that's my second Grail watch. Chronograph, sorted. So now we're gonna get into even more dicey territory with this next one. I want a permanent tank watch in my collection. I have a beautiful tank watch that I'm going to talk about made by Seiko, which I think is probably more than enough than I would ever need. I did want to get a manual movement. I wanted to get, or an automatic movement, either one of those. So I went to the big boy, Cartier, And I'm looking at these watches and I'm like, man, I do want a Cartier in my collection. It's just, there's something about the name, the heritage, the way they look, the, phallic cabochon that they have. Just that blue dog penis sticking out is something magical. Jesus. But I'm looking around and they're quartz, which is fine. I'm not a snob when it comes to that. But the price for this quartz watch is dumb. And so that really got me, because I'm like, God, I want a Cartier, but it's just, I can't justify that amount of money for one. I started looking elsewhere. I say it Longines. Other people say Longines. Longines? I say Longines. So I landed on a Longines, and it is the Dolcevita. And I love this thing. It's an automatic movement. It costs way less than the Cartier. It has the same style, and it also has a little bit of my Italian heritage in there with the Dolcevita. I really like that. It's breaking my heart that I probably won't have a Cartier in my Grail watch collection. And if I come across one that's worth it, I'll get it. But I'm leaning now towards the Longines only because it is an automatic movement, and if it's a Grail watch, I do want all of my Grail watches to be either manual wind or automatic. It's just, it makes them a bit more special than a quartz watch. And finally, my fourth watch is a Seiko. It's the Grand Seiko Elegance Collection. It is the Spring Drive SBGY007. It is the Omi Watari. That watch is gorgeous. The reason why I want that one is because I started with Seikos, and I want to end with the Seiko. It's honoring the company that got me into watches and that got a lot of us into watches. And I think that the mechanics inside this watch and the dial and the finishing is insane. Some people have said it's too perfect. I know that Nico Leonard absolutely hates people who own them. I don't care what he thinks. Neither should you. If you want a Grand Seiko, just get it. I think his big complaint was the people who wear them are sitting and watching Kurosawa movies all day. And I'm like, yeah. But the watch itself is just, it's a work of art. And I think that out of all the watches that I talked about, that is the one that truly is something different. You have this innovative movement. It is an amazing technological feat in watchmaking. And for the price, I think it's $8,900. I think it's still better than most of the other heritage brands out there. See, I'm not going to say which one. That's the kind of watch that I would want to be sitting at the very end of my collection and go, that is just the watch that, yeah, I may not wear it all the time, but I own it and I love it. And it is a work of total art, total craftsmanship, and I'm proud of it. And I just think that having that connection to where you started in your watch journey and then where you ended is such a wonderful little bookend. It's Grand Seiko all the way as my ultimate Grail watch. And I can't wait until I get my hands on one. I want to hear what you think. What are your thoughts on my Grail watch collection? Does it suck? Do you like it? Was it expected? Was it unexpected? Look, my taste is very basic. I'll say that. I'm not a Richard Mille guy. I'm not like a Patek guy yet. I may be a Patek guy at some point, as my taste refines. But right now I'm not. And these are my very simple little watches that I want. I mean, they're hardly inexpensive, but I would say they fall on the lower end of things. So I'm curious, what would you want in your collection? What's your ultimate Grail collection? Do you have a number? Do you have like a limited number? Do you have an ultimate watch that you want? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really excited to talk about this stuff. I love talking about what other people love and want. So anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for joining me on this episode of Crown and Stem, and I will see you on the next one.